2023 was one of the hardest years of my life. I lost my mom, and I also lost my aunt, who was also my godmother. It was a really hard year. In May, my mom became really sick, and by the end of July, she was gone. We did have some good news there. Back in 2012, my mom had done her estate plan. And as part of that, she also included an advance directive. So as she declined, we knew exactly what she wanted. And when the time came to make really hard decisions, we had her wishes down in writing, and we were able to take those wishes and give them to the hospital and give her the end that she wanted. That provided us all a lot of comfort. Unfortunately, about a week after we buried my grandmother, my aunt went into the hospital. My aunt was much younger. She was only 65 years old. And as an attorney, I had been telling her, get your estate plan done, get your estate plan done. We need to know what's going on. And she just said, Christy, I have time. Chris, stop bothering me. I have time. But she didn't. And we don't always know when we do. My aunt passed away in December of 2023, but this one was not as easy. We didn't know what she wanted. And some really hard decisions had to be made. Now, there's one contingent in my family, one half, that felt Aunt Sin is a fighter. She would want us to do everything possible to save her life. And then there's the other side of the family that said she's been suffering for so long, from July until December, so long, and she wouldn't want to be in pain. Today, I don't even know who was right and who was wrong. All I know is that we all loved her with all of our hearts, and we all did our best for her. And at the end, the decision was taken away from us anyway because she's no longer here. But the scars of having to go through that and really wondering, did we do what she wanted? They're not going to go away for a long time. Another thing that's really hard is that because Aunt Sin didn't have a estate plan, she also doesn't have a will, and she had made no provisions for who's going to care for her dog, Honey. Don't worry, Honey's now my dog. I'm taking care of her. But that's because Aunt Sin was really lucky. She had a family member that had the ability to, that had a home that could accommodate a dog very quickly. And had Honey not had that, I don't know what would have happened to her. We were Honey's third owners. Honey had already lost owners due to death and had been traded around. And no animal deserves that, certainly not the animals that you love. The other piece is figuring out what to do with Aunt Sin's house and stuff. Of course, nobody's fighting. Everybody loves each other, but that's because we are lucky that we are not fighting. And still figuring it out is really tricky. We all miss Aunt Sin. I miss her every single day. When I look into Honey's big brown eyes, my own eyes well up with tears. But I also wish she had done us that favor and did for us what my mom did. Gave us the confidence that we gave her the end that she wanted and give us some direction of what to do after. An estate plan isn't for the person planning. That's a common misconception because nobody wants to think about death and nobody wants to think about their stuff. And I've heard so many people say, why should I write a will? Why should I write a trust? I don't care what happens with my stuff. I'll be dead. Why do I care? Because it's not about you. It's about those you're leaving behind. Do you really want to do that to your children, your nieces, your nephews, your animals, and all those people that depend on you? The other thing that estate planning does, besides providing clarity for those end-of-life decisions and providing clarity on the afterlife decisions, is help save your family a lot of money. We could talk about wills versus trusts versus all kinds of different possible estate plans here. I'm not going to know which one is right for you unless we're sitting down and actually meeting. And even then, there's more than one way to skin a cat. You can find a lot of different options. But I do know that a lot of the options out there can help you to save your family a lot of money, whether that is through tax strategy, Medicaid planning, or even avoiding probate. And why does that matter? Because don't you want all the things that you worked so hard in your life to go to the people you love? For those that depend on you, your spouse, your children, your grandchildren, your animals, don't you want to be able to look at them and say, I did my best for you and I'm doing my best for you? And I would argue if you don't have an estate plan, you're not doing your best for them and you need to do better. I get asked often, what exactly is a will? I mean, everybody has heard of one. You know you should get one. Your financial advisor told you should have one. And you certainly hear about dramatic readings of last will and testaments in TV shows and movies. But what exactly is it? A will is a binding document that you write and is signed in front of witnesses that expresses what you want to happen to your things after your death. A will is just one piece of a comprehensive estate plan. It can't handle things like what happens before you die or any kinds of powers of attorney needed before you die to make medical decisions for you or financial decisions for you. And it certainly doesn't lay out end of life decisions. So it is only one small piece of a comprehensive estate plan, but it's an important one. So, what is a trust? I get asked that often, and it's kind of hard to explain, but I'm going to do my best. So, what a trust is it is a legal entity that you create that you then put your assets into. So, you might put your house into there, you might put bank accounts into there, you might put other things in there. And those assets are then owned and managed, and what happens to them is outlined in the trust document. Think of it though like a cup. The trust is the cup, and if you don't fund it, it's just an empty cup and it does you no good. So, why do you want to put your stuff in a cup? Well, it provides a lot of protections. Some of them might be Medicaid planning, depending again on the type of trust. It might protect your children if you want to do a generation skipping trust, for example, so that your assets are preserved for your grandchildren and things are saved for your children so that your children can't have their assets taken by creditors or things like that. It can help protect your family from the costs of probate. It can help your family if there are any other issues having to do with certain taxes. I can't get into it in detail because there are multiple different kinds of trusts, and each trust is written in lots of different ways. Some of them are really short, some of them are really long, some of them are more like a Cadillac, and others are more like a Toyota Camry. The right trust for you is going to be very dependent on your unique situation and what it is you're trying to accomplish with the trust. Two documents as part of your estate plan that are super important is an advanced healthcare directive and powers of attorney. So I'm going to talk about both of them. An advanced healthcare directive is what do you want to happen if you become incapacitated? For example, do you want nutrition given to you or do you not? At a point where you may be considered legally brain dead, do you want to remain on life support? What kind of pain medication do you want? These end of life or even incapacity decisions are ones that you want to make before something bad happens. And you want to write them down and make sure that everybody knows where it is. For the most part, doctors are going to follow your wishes, they're going to follow your advance directive. You can also appoint in your advance directive someone who can make medical decisions on your behalf if you're incapacitated. And those medical decisions aren't covered by the advance directive because you can't imagine every situation out there. I know it's hard to think about end of life things. I don't want to think about it. Do I want to stop receiving nutrition and pain meds? I mean, I don't want to become addicted to pain meds, but also I certainly don't want to be in pain. I don't know. These things are icky and uncomfortable, but also they're so important. So many people know about Terry Schiavo, and I've talked before about my aunt who we didn't know what to do for her. We all wanted to do our best for her, but was the best prolonging her life or was the best pain medicine? And to this day, I don't know. And if you want to have a say in what happens to you, or if you don't care, but you don't want to put that stress on your children or your spouse or your family to have to choose for you, an advance directive is a really important document. There's also another document, power of attorney, and in this one, I'm going to talk about financial power of attorney. Because let's say you are incapacitated for a period of time. Let's say 3 months. You're in a coma for 3 months. How's your mortgage getting paid or your rent? What about your lights? What about your insurance, especially your health insurance? What about your car insurance? What if you have a business and you need to pay your employees? That's a different type of financial power of attorney, but still. You want someone who's going to be able to take care of your financial matters when you can't. Let's just say it's not a coma. What if it's Alzheimer's or something else where you are not able to take care of yourself financially? Rather than having a family member have to petition a court to get guardianship of you, a power of attorney is something that can kind of step in and help take care of that. As Z Family Law, we don't write endings, we create new beginnings. And part of creating a new beginning is creating a legacy of love. Secure your new beginning by making sure that your estate plan is fully set up. We are here to help. Click below so that we can schedule your case assessment.